And we're gonna call in Jody for the four-way test and the pledge.
All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for the four-way test, first of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And it will be beneficial to all concerned. I get my group right.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Oh, Doug is gonna inspire us today. Hey, Doug, we're waiting for your inspiration.
My inspiration.
Right, making it up on the way.
I am sort of making this up on the way. So Beth and I were traveling one time and we listened to TED Talks, and this woman came on and she's a writer, she's kind of funny. And she kind of went through some things. She was getting older, sort of writing to herself and to her loved ones on how to live their life. And one of the things she said really struck home to me. And this woman kind of said, when you're looking at yourself and comparing yourself to others, don't look at your internal chaotic, stressful self that you know of, because we all have stresses, we all have chaos, we all have problems, we all have crazy aunts and uncles and whatever else it is. Yes, we do. And she said, be sure not to compare your chaotic, ugly inside self to the shiny outside self of somebody else. Because you might look out there, you might say, wow, they drive a nice car, they've got a great relationship with their partner, they've got this great business, but they got as much chaos and shit going on in their life as you and I do. So give yourself a break and don't compare yourself to them. That's my perspective.
You know, if I could chime in on that, when my wife and I did caddy and gossip about other people, every now and then I stop and I say, I wonder what they say about us. Usually, boom, that's enough to shut me up right then and there. Okay, how about, let's see, what do we got? Oh, we have a visiting Rotarian, Richard Bush from the Friday Club, and welcome, Richard. He's gonna share some information with us later. And then I know probably we have at least one visitor.
This is my nephew Jeremy, moved here with his family in the middle of June. I'm the licensed, bonded contractor person.
Contractor.
This one's a good little stuff, not big house. But he's adorable and he was
Okay, how about announcements? I've got two quick ones, and then I'll open up. Let's see, on the 11th and 25th of April, we have the four-way speech contest. So that's coming up. That's always kind of fun. And we're gonna need 3 judges. We've had, I think, Lutz and a few others, but if you would like to be a judge, please let me know. We need 3 judges for those 2 events. And then also, if you recall, the social in December was at the Glass Forge, and a lot of people blew ornaments or some kind of glass object and bought some things as well. Well, the Glass Forge, comprised of some great people, gave us a check for $1,174. So, pretty good investment. We go there, blow grass and glass. Never really got there. Anyway, the point is, they gave us the money back, so thank you. All right, let's go.
Oh, you are never gonna live that one down.
That was great. Thank you.
Today was, my day to serve casseroles at the park, and Leonora was there as well. This is just a reminder that, any money that you give to me for food, I give out to people that need it, that are baking and cooking, because we go through, well, today we went through 5 casseroles. And did I mention that those casseroles have like about between 12 and 18 eggs in each one of them? And anyway, so my coffers are getting low, just reminding you. And cash is better than checks because, like I said, I put it in an envelope. I hand it out to people as they ask me for the money back. And is it worth it? Worth it? Oh, yeah, it is. And I'm also doing dog food and putting it, not for the people. And putting it in baggies and getting, a box of baggies went out today to different people. Because many of these homeless people have puppies and doggies. Yes, thank you.
Well, hi there. Jim and I went to a grants meeting this last weekend. Oh, I didn't see you. I'm sorry. I saw him. Okay, Jolene was also there. And I don't know, were you there too? No? Yes? Were you there?
Yeah.
Well, I lost his name in the ethernet of being anesthetized. Kirk, yes, I'm sorry, Kirk. Your name went away. Oh, okay, well, because I know you are a lot of time. So anyway, it was a nice meeting, and what I want to do is let you know that grant time is coming up. And you should be thinking on what you might want to write a grant about if you do. You don't have to, but if there's something you absolutely have to have for the Rotary Club for us to do, or something like we've done the little libraries, we've done books, we've done all kinds of stuff. Yes, sir.
She's talking about the grants for Rotary year 24-25.
Right.
And the deadline for our club to submit for DDF, matching DDF, is June 1st to submit an idea.
Thank you. I was gonna get there, and I might not have forgot that part. I might not have. Anyway, March is when we're gonna be working on it as a club to figure out what, one or two grants we wanna, apply for matching. And then that gives us some time to pull all the facts and figures together. There's been talk about a grant, maybe with the other clubs for Mint and doing a matching district grant that way. But there's all kinds of ideas. There's Jody's in her shoes. I don't know. There's lots of stuff. Margaret, what else? You've done stuff. What else have we done?
Tree planting.
Tree planting, yes, we've done lots of stuff, so it's open. But I just want you to know, and I'll be right here telling you again. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Good segue, because where we get the money for the grants is from your donations to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund Share. So remember, that was part of the promotion for the Super Bowl. We have a little reveal today. We're gonna figure out which team is on the top, which team is on the side of the grid, and we're going to have the big reveal next week where we do all the numbers. So you'll be able to take a photo of the pool board, and if you don't come to the watch party on February 11th, the day of the game at Grants Pass Museum of Art, 3 p.m. is the opening. The game starts at 3:30. We also have door prizes coming up. We're collecting some things, and if you come to the party, you can just bring something if you want. It's also a BYOB and a potluck, so come prepared. We'll enjoy watching the game and seeing who wins prizes. There'll be something not related to football because it'll be related to all the advertisements. And even though it's on another station, we'll still watch it. Doug already has started the work to get the TV ready, and we've already been approved to use the Grants Pass Museum of Art. So we're looking forward to that. I need a 49er fan to tell me, help me distinguish between pulling cards. We usually just have a regular deck of cards. I had to get a special deck of cards because both teams that are in the Super Bowl this year have the same team colors, red and gold or red and yellow. So to make this divide up properly and have it be random, I need someone from the 49ers to tell the uninitiated how the 49ers got their name. From the gold rush, the gold rush.
Oh.
So I have cards that have gold and cards that have red.
Nice.
So I have 8 of each card. I'm gonna have Jody draw one, and then the first one that's drawn will be on the top. If it's red, it's the Chiefs. If it's gold, it's the 49ers. And then the other team gets the other side.
Nice.
And what can we say about the chief? Now chiefs are gonna do it.
Yes, the red one.
See, I told you.
This is the whole one, this is the red. So the Chiefs go on the top and the coordinators go on the side. More next week, we'll get the numbers.
Alright. I sent an email out about this already, but just kind of a reminder and for everybody to be thinking about it. At this point, we're scheduled to do the Shoes That Fit at the Williams Elementary School on March 20th, which is a Wednesday. We kind of wanted to try to see if we could do it before they leave for school break, for, I guess, spring break. If the shoes don't come in time, which they should by that point, but just in case, we may have to move it till after, into April, because we need to get past the school break. But please sign up, be there. I'm gonna meet a lot of people. There's like 87 kids that we have to fit shoes on. And we didn't have anywhere near that amount when we went to Evergreen Elementary that we were actually fitting shoes on, and it still took quite a bit of time. But the more hands, the better it will be. So please, if you haven't signed up for your volunteer stuff through your school district, get that done. It does last for a couple of years. So if you're concerned if, you know, you're still valid or not, you can just reach out to them and they can let you know. They can let you know when you expired. Mine actually expired in the beginning of April, so I went ahead and extended mine to make sure just in case. But anyhow, I really would love to have a whole bunch of participation at that. It's going to be fabulous. We'll be able to fit shoes on every kid in that school.
Jody, can you send a link again in an email about how to sign up to get?
Sure.
As a volunteer?
I will do that. Yes, I'll send that back out for the volunteer efforts. Yeah. We've got some socks. We had some left over from the backpack program. I think, I don't remember off the top of my head, I think I counted 74 pair. So we're really close, but the hard part is that we're doing a multi-age of kids and our socks were for younger kids. So we may not have proper sizes for all of the kids. But yeah, so it's pretty exciting and be able to give a whole school shoes, pretty phenomenal. So that was a great, thank you.
So I've got two things. First, the project at Hillcrest, I sent an email out about planting trees along the highway there. I learned how to schedule emails in advance, so really cool. I love this feature. She's getting a lot of goddamn emails. I'm ready for this. I'm gonna blow you up with emails. So there'll be more emails coming out saying, please sign up. So that's one thing coming, and it's on 2 weekends. Last weekend in February, and then the next weekend in March, where we'll plant some seedlings. And then the second thing to talk about is kind of a new project. The foundation, the Mid-Road Foundation, who owns that property, we're going to plant the trees on, is going to try to be building some housing for military veterans up there. We've shifted away from Glencrest, which was the project that Tommy generously was willing to donate some land to, because it was just too expensive to build out there on the steep hillside. We've shifted our focus to the Hillcrest site. So in a ramp up to that, we're going to raise money. And one of the things we're going to do is go do another yard art auction online. And so in the near future, sometime end of April, we'll have an auction where we're going to be selling yard art. But before that, I'd like to invite any of you to participate in making yard art, either at your own house if you wanted to make something, or come to my shop and we'll make it there. It's not really a Rotary project, it's kind of project, and since you all are here, I'm gonna invite you to participate. Leonora helps, and a few others help and come paint and make things. So I want to invite you to that. I'll send out an email to ask any of you who are interested in getting further emails to respond. So I don't blow you up with lots of emails to everybody to some of you that aren't interested. So there'll be an email coming out in the near future about signing up, and then I'll send you emails about what the schedule is. You know, we'll be working on Tuesday, we're working on Thursday, kind of crap. So I'd love to have volunteers for that. Thank you. Thank you. Jody just asked me if I wanted more horseshoes, because horseshoes are fantastic things to make yard art out of. Yes, and wine barrel rings. Anybody has rotten wine barrels with the metal rings? Love those, very useful. Anything that's kind of substantial metal, old rusty tools, that kind of stuff is very useful. All right, Richard, would you like to come up?
Hello, guys. So I am here from Greater Grants Pass Rotary, as was said earlier. I am here to tell you guys we have our annual fundraiser coming up in March 2nd. It's First Crush, and tickets are on sale online right now. They're $55 a ticket now. They'll be $60 at the door, so grab them while they're still cheaper than they will be later. Thanks.
Thanks, Richard. You know, projects are the heart of the club. This club has a pretty big heart because it seems like you got a lot of things going on, which is great. The programs today are gonna be a little different. Usually we have outside people coming in. We're gonna talk about things unique to our club. And I think it's important to do this periodically. We're gonna talk a little bit about the foundation. It's really information, reminder for those of you who already know about it, but also we have some newer members as well. Let's see, Jan's gonna do that, and then we're gonna talk about the strategic plan. So let's start with Jan.
Hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna be very brief on this, but since we have so many new members, Jim asked me if I could kind of give a brief overview of what we do with our foundation.
Is this better?
Scary, huh? Okay, so the Rotary was founded in 2019. This is our statement of what we do. It's a charitable arm specifically for our club. And the idea is to have funding, grants, and other activities for charitable and education services within Jefferson County. So
I got from the ODX on sale at Grocery Outlet, and I was like,
cool.
cool.
And one of the reasons we founded the foundation was because we wanted to take over Porch Fest. Linda Scott, who had done it, could no longer do it, so we took that over so we could use the money for our club. And it just turned out to be pretty profitable for us. So, and also a real boom to the community as far as fun is concerned. So that worked out very, very well. And so we've been doing lots of stuff since then. Kind of the current projects that we
Like that's genetically modified.
Okay, so here's that screen. So we are a 501c charity, and these are our officers. Small group. We only meet or when we have to do the annual review of the financials. Otherwise, there's a lot of emails and gathering here to get things done. So we're very nimble and we try to get things taken care of as quickly as possible. Okay, so projects. We have projects. We don't take money just for anything. So currently we have projects with backpacks, Foundry Village. That's a fun question. It's going to get named again, okay, guys? Because we do have funding left over for Foundry Village that wasn't needed. And so the idea is we will move it over to the Veterans Village, I think is what the plan will be, but our board will have to discuss that. And by the way, because we're all members of this club, we do take into account all the time what's going on with the club and what the club's wishes are. It's not it's not a dictatorship here with the foundation. We're always making sure that we're focusing on the things that the club wants to do. We've done international grants. The mural project we're doing right now, which is going very well. We've gotten a couple grants there, which is pretty fun. Porch Fest is our big one, which we all know about. Service Above Self, so you can donate for contributing to that function. We do Shelter Box, and once a year we currently have an annual donation of $1,000 to Shelter Box, which is wonderful because that helps people around the world. Shoes to Fit, our new big thing, which is very exciting. You can donate for that. And then we have another project which is called General and Administrative. That's where we pay for, exciting things like insurance. So we have to do that, but we're very specific about doing that, and very little money gets spent out of that. Completed projects. So we finish projects when the club's done what they want to do, there's no more work on it. So some of the ones we completed is the Foundry Village really is, and I said we're going to rename that puppy. Operation Gratitude, that was during COVID, where we I loved it. We served lunch to 400 employees of Asante. And then we also, just because they were suffering from the work and such with the COVID, so that was a real fun way to do. And we've done global grants. I worked with, okay, brain fart.
Tommy.
You can say Terry, with Tommy on one, and that was fun. Yeah, scholarship program, but it was, they gave it just because we had the foundation. And that was the one where we were able to provide funding.
I don't know, I came in this morning and it was
From
gone, and I was
Afghanistan
like,
to
two of
women
them
and
yesterday when I
children.
left.
So,
They were there when I
it's-
left. Must have been the
I'm very proud
boys.
of our club for having this.
They were there when I left. Must have been the boys.
Somebody's not unmuted. I can hear
In,
two or
in
three
our
people
community
talking.
and also worldwide.
No, I
So,
only had 2 squares yesterday. I was like,
I just thought I'd let you know that as of this moment, we have about $61,800 in there. And so thank you. You do a great job. And I am happy to take any questions. How did I do on time?
You're good.
Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting our Rotary.
Thank you. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about the strategic plan. We got it into 3 parts. Dawn's gonna do a little introduction, and then I think Greg's gonna do some, and I'm gonna just bring us up to date. And one thing I just want to mention before we get started, this may be dry material, but I think a lot of you know these things. Any agency or organization or nonprofit or business you're involved in have good vision statements, good mission statements, and good strategic plans. And plans are effective if they're used, if they're not left up on the shelf, but they're taken down. And part of the process of a strategic plan is a feedback loop. So periodically you go through and you check, where you are. Have you accomplished things, or some still relevant? Do we need to add other things? And so that's kind of what we're doing today. We're doing part of this feedback loop to keep our plans up to date and relevant as possible. And remember, it's a 5-year plan. It goes through 2026. So we got a few years left on it. Okay, thank you.
I think everybody should give themselves a big hand, because I was thinking people are looking at the program and go, oh my God, a strategic plan. I think I'll miss that meeting. But you're all here. So I'm proud of you for that. And I know it's boring, but I'm just gonna kind of set the stage with 2 props. All right, so that's kind of, and I am the one in charge of talking about a little bit of history. How did we get our current strategic plan? So that's even more boring. But many of you are new members. Probably some of you don't even realize that as a club, we have a strategic plan, let alone know what's in the strategic plan. So I think a review is really important. And as Jim says, we need to have a vision. And generally a vision we set down is valid for about 5 years. And then it's time to refresh, and it's time to kind of look. Well, so I'm taking you back in history, all right? And we're now back in 2020. And as many of you know, 2020, and I'm not talking about perfect vision, 2020, because we know that we didn't have the vision. So as many of you may know, President-elects, and Judy is about ready to do this, in February, go up to Tacoma for a conference. It's an orientation for President-elects. You learn an awful lot. One of the things that as a president-elect you are to do is to create your goals for your club for that coming year. So it's 2021. I am the president-elect, and I go up to the conference, and it was really, COVID was just kind of like we were thinking about it. The conference was still going to go on in person. We weren't really realizing what was coming next. So I sat down and worked on the goals that I thought our club maybe would be able to stretch goals, but achievable goals. One was to develop a strategic plan. So there I was, 2020, we've got our goals, we're ready to go. And then what happened? Our then president, Janie, had to, all of a sudden everything shut down. And she and Gina Marie, God bless both of them, right away figured out, how can we meet and not do it in person. So they were the ones who created our Zoom, right? And I think we were probably, out of the 66 clubs in our district, I think we were probably the first ones to get it done and to get moving forward. So, you know, our Rotary year is beginning of July to end of June, and it was also unfortunately the presidential election year. So as Rotarians, we were really saying we're focusing on services. Politics doesn't have anything to do with it, and we're going to look at our goals. Well, so this goal of a strategic plan, it was kind of like, well, how are we going to do a strategic plan? We're not meeting in person, and that was the way it had been done in the district for years. Well, probably one of my smartest moves that year, because I made a lot of mistakes, was I went to Greg. Greg Fishwick is amazing with processes and organizational skills. There is a district individual who works with strategic plans, and I asked Greg if he would be able to coordinate creating that, but to do it remotely. So with Greg's brilliance and a willing district guy, we created our strategic plan completely online, basically using Zoom. And to my knowledge, we also, again, as a club, we're probably the only club that ever created a strategic plan in that fashion, but we did it really successfully. So that's where we were that year. Our strategic plan was completed. We were able to do a lot of other things. Clubs were struggling, but because of the club members that we have, we added club members. We ended up being, again, because Janie had done it too the year before, as the greatest middle-sized club in the district. That was wonderful. And as our club has done many times before and continues to do, we get the citation for creating goals that we actually achieve. And that is something that's pretty rare. So it's thanks to all of you for your resilience. Thanks to this that we're able to do it. And with that, I want to bring Greg up.
Thank you, Jim. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process that we used, because we did work with a man named Mark Johnson, who is from Eugene. He happens to be the operational manager of LTD, the Lane Transit District. So if you've ever been up to Eugene, there's a bus. You can take a bus almost anywhere every 10 or 15 minutes, and you can get almost anywhere in the region in about another 20 minutes or so. So it's an incredible system. He was wonderful to work with. We started with the packaged product that they used was a 3-day workshop. It started with a survey that was about, I think, if I remember correctly, about 3 pages long, asking every club member, you know, what they thought their club was known for, what they wanted to be known for, what they liked, what they didn't like, all sorts of things under the Rotary International structure of what the areas of focus were, areas of service, I could say, and things like that. We honed that down to 1 page. We decided we were going to have our 3 sessions in a regular meeting. So less than an hour instead of all day. We used that information and we were greatly helped. I don't know if I don't think I have a slide with the names of everyone. I can remember now. But Don as the president, Steve Rowe was, I think, past president. I was also past president. Laurel Sims was on the committee. She was treasurer. I think Debbie Amin was on there. And we all went to the district training assembly, which was the first one that was ever done on Zoom at the end of March, I believe it was. And that's how we got started. Let's see if I'm there. Okay, so we, that's really far along, I think. It starts with the flag. Or it should.
That's the first slide.
Second page.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, the flag, sorry.
that's okay. That's the background. But that's something to be proud of. Some of you haven't seen our club flag, but that's what it looks like. And we had each session had one major function. The first one was brainstorming, the second one was ranking, and the third one was starting the plan. So those of you who were with us, I think we expanded the committee. I know Ruth, James Dunn, Valerie Lovelace. Am I forgetting someone who's here who worked on it with you? We had to have 10 members on the committee because there were 10 sections of information that revolved around like the areas of service, like community service, international service, youth service, etc. So each of those areas had brainstormed information from all the members. At the time, the club had about 50 members, and it had been a little more than 5 years since we'd done a strategic plan. And more than half of those 50 members were not members of the club when we did the previous strategic plan. That plan, by the way, still has a legacy, because one of the key things from that plan was that we decided we were going to focus on education and literacy and community and economic development. So those became key themes for some of the activities that we're still doing. So that each of these 10 committee members took one of these sections. They took all the brainstorming information and they tried to put the ideas together and they would switch off, like someone would promote an idea that actually fits better under another area. So the committee had to work together to organize these and be able to get them back to the club so the club could rank them. So our club ranked every activity that they thought they would like to participate in. So there were lots of ideas, some of them fell by the wayside, but we had 27 action steps that we wanted to do that were ranked in order of priority, that at least 50% of the members wanted to do. So the committee started to put together their sections and with those activities in ranked order. And then they started filling it out. When will we do this? Will it be right away? Will it be soon? Will it be later? Who's going to do it? And we organized our committees around these activities. And every year the committees change a little bit, but they're assigned through the strategic plan. They're usually assigned what projects from the strategic plan are going to go with their committee or their team. So the foundation works on the Super Bowl pool to get us every Rotarian every year, etc. Our club foundation works on Porch Fest like nobody's business. Each committee gets to decide how they're going to do that this year. Are they going to readjust priorities? Are they going to look at the time frame, change things around? So if you're serving on a committee, you have this as a backdrop. You have a committee chair, hopefully a committee co-chair. And one of the reasons we do that is because one of the goals that we had was to have co-chairs who were mentored by the chairs so that we could change over the leadership every 2 or 3 years and no one would have to do the same thing every year, lead the same group and focus on the same thing. So we change it up a little bit. I think, let's see. Oh, we ended up, one of the things that I think, is this the last one? It's our vision statement. And I think especially for those of you that are newer members, if you look at this vision statement, you'll see that we've been working on it. We've been making it happen. It's a welcoming, fun-loving, diverse, representative club of 50 to 75, emphasizing hands-on service projects. We now have 71 members. At the time, as I said, we had about 50. That was one of the things that we worked on, and I think it's a tremendous accomplishment. Another thing was talk about Porch Fest. I think the first year we did it, we netted about $10,000. And we made a stretch goal of saying we want to make that bring in at least $40,000. And I think last year we exceeded that. So Jim's going to give us a few more updates on some of the strategic plan activities and how we're doing working toward them.
Thank you. It's kind of funny that he ended with the vision statement, and that's how I was gonna begin, and we did not plan this, so serendipity, I suppose. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna give you a brief update. I was gonna talk about the club goals as well, but in the interest of time, I don't think we'll make it, so we'll do that later. And one other thing, I need to apologize. I had intended to have copies of it for you in front of you today. I forgot completely. I had a dentist appointment this morning, and I was gonna run the state rules, but anyway, I ran out of time. But at any rate, I'll ask Steve to put it on the Navigator, and I'll bring copies next week, because you really ought to take a look at it. If I read it to you, you would, you may fall asleep. Anyway, so here is the vision statement that he just read, and he noted that we have 71 members, 3 of whom are honorary members. Kate Dwyer is one, Charlie Seagraves is another, and Tiffany Mackey from North Valley High School is the 3rd honorary member. Okay, so the next one, I thought I'd talk a little bit about what this thing even looks like. It's not that interesting, but I think it's important. So there are 7 categories of priority actions, and there are a total of 27. So our strategic plan has 27 things that we're supposed to be doing over the next, within that period, that 5-year period. And then there's also sort of a schedule. It's fairly loose, but it's essentially when an action should occur. And I think the categories are soon, right now, or it's actually scheduled for a specific time to get it done. And then how and what steps need to be taken to get it done. What that really does is just shunts it off to the appropriate committee. You know, we have all these different committees. And so in the strategic plan, the priority actions are assigned to various committees. In fact, I think the social impact committee is going to meet after this meeting to talk about something we want to take on, which is affiliation or some support of the Mint project. And we're going to talk about that later, right, Lutz, I think. Okay, and then a list of the various committees. And as I noted, I'll stick it in the RSC to put it in the Navigator so you can take a look. In terms of, let's see, what we got. Oh, so the categories. I thought this is kind of interesting. You know, again, we are a service club. So every one of those categories has, at least the last 2, I suppose, have the word service after them. So we have club service, vocational service, community service, you know, youth is very important. Youth service is one, international service. A little shout out to those 2. I know they've done a lot of work with the international grant. We really appreciate that. It's hard work. Financial support for the Rotary Foundation, which is partly why I wanted Jan to talk to us today. And then financial support for, oh, I'm sorry, the Rotary Foundation is the international one. And then the financial support for our Road Gateway Club and RG Rotary Foundation. And each of them have, as I've noted behind or next to it, a certain number of actions, things that we're supposed to try to get done. Okay, so how did we look at this thing? First of all, I just brought it up at the board meeting. I thought, you know, board, we ought to take a look at this. We're more than halfway through it. What should we do? The board thought the most appropriate people to talk to initially, at least, are the committee chairs. So we sent it out to all the committee chairs and co-chairs and asked for their feedback. And then with that feedback, came back to the board and kicked it around again. And then here we are today to report the results to you. In general, there wasn't a lot of feedback. And the feedback is that it's a good plan. A lot of the projects are ongoing. We're in the middle of them. We're doing them, or they're going to be done shortly or at some point. And so there's not a whole lot to report. So that's what I said. Okay, many of the actions are ongoing, such as sustain inspiring weekly programs. I hope you find this one inspiring. And then sustain annual vocational service award. And if you remember, just last week, we gave Cohen the vocational service award. So that one is alive and well, pretty much thanks to the efforts of Josie. Some are in progress, such as initiate project to clean rivers, plant trees, and expand Porch Fest. So we're doing Porch Fest again. Doug just made the announcement about planting trees up along Hillcrest, so that's an ongoing one. And then this one's kind of funny. At least one has been completed and is ongoing. The way it's worded is lead development of Foundry Village and similar projects. So in some ways, that's a never-ending one because there's always going to be a similar project. But you know, Foundry Village was an incredible success, and I know so many people got involved in that one. And I don't know about you, but every now and then, just purely out of curiosity, I drive by. I don't know, check it out. You know, one of the concerns from the neighbors were that it was going to be incompatible with the neighborhood. But to be honest, I mean, I always thought that's kind of a tough neighborhood because it's got residential on the south side and industrial railroad tracks on the north side. And I just thought, you know, I don't know. I think this is gonna be as good or better than anything you could get or some kind of industrial operation open there. And then we were very careful to make sure there was as much buffering or make it as compatible as possible. So if you recall, fencing is there. The buildings are cute. They're nice little buildings, fencing, and then great landscaping and artwork as well. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I think they probably turned out to be pretty good neighbors after all. So, and of course, there are people who control the situation, who live it. Okay, and internet, okay, next one. So an international grant was applied for and will be again, which complies with or implements support local, national, and global clean water and sanitation projects. We're working on the grant for compatible water in Cozumel, right?
Yeah, for Cozumel rain drinking water, collecting water as it comes down into cisterns, cleaning it and making it available for children in 2 schools, and also other water for projects of gardens, community gardens
Within the schools.
within the school.
Can't get any cooler than that one.
But we're having problems.
I know, I didn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Right, and we're going for it again this year, right?
Well, we got approval at the 3rd quarter grants meeting to continue it, but I'm under a
Oh.
6-month line now from
Got it.
January 27th.
Right, and I think the delays are happening at the other end, not at our end, so.
Yeah, it is at the other end.
And then one specific suggestion was to add mint to, you'll know what the mint is, or mint is, to support community assistance. So that is one specific thing. Besides checking some things off, one specific suggestion is to add mint, and that would go to support community assistance programs such as backpacks, food banks, warming shelters. And we talked about that at the board, and it was a resounding unanimous vote to do so. So we are now official supporters of mint. And then I guess the overall conclusion was stick with the plan. It goes through 2026 and we'll do it again. Take a look at it next year. At least that's what I would suggest. So I thought, okay, well, how can we wrap this up? So what can you do? So I, take a look at it. Now, again, I apologize, you don't have it in front of you today, but we'll get you that. And we can also get it on the navigator. So it's only a 1-page, in fact, I brought a copy. It's fairly easy. It's small fonts. So get out your readers. Let me find it. It's really only a 1-page, oops, here's a marked up copy I got. Anyway, it's only a 1-page document. So it's pretty easy to get through. So anyway, take a look at it. Find something that you like or something that you're interested in. And if you haven't already, figure out which committee it is and join the committee. If you're not already on a committee, that's an easy way to plug in. What's kind of become a mantra to me is you can't do everything, but do something. So you'll plug into something that you like. If you're interested, every now and then, and maybe we haven't done as good a job as we could about advertising these things, but there are a lot of district trainings. So it doesn't hurt to go to some of these trainings. A lot of them are done online. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. So tune into something like that. And then under club service priority actions, it says, help to recruit diverse community representatives and adjust gaps in representation. One of the goals for this year, this Rotary year, was that 3 different people would recruit members. So if you've been a great recruiter, I know like the Walkers, seems like they're like our 2-person army, but if you've never done that, yeah. There they are. Thanks, Dad. You guys are splitting, real good at splitting. It's easy.
Yeah.
Good here. But anyway, we need 3 people. I think we got 1 already, I think. But at any rate, so if you haven't tried to recruit somebody to do that, that would help us, help grow the club. But it would also help achieve this particular goal. And then also just consider, think of your position, what you do in Rotary, and think about, would you like to be a committee chair or a co-chair, or would you like to be on the board? And to be honest, it's really not that hard. I mean, right, Jean-Marie? We meet basically once a month. Occasionally we have stand-up meetings. There's an agenda, you read the minutes and you talk about things. And I don't know, as I got older in my career, at some point I decided I want to be in the room. I was sick of other people getting to make the decisions. I said, I want to be there. And you know, you're kind of in the room. It's not like we're making these extraordinary decisions. But at any rate, if you want to, think about it. It's not that hard and your help would be appreciated. As I noted, we were going to do, we have 13 goals. I was going to talk about them. But we're running out of time, so I think I'll just bring those back and talk about them later. One thing, our goal is 71 members. According to our latest, what we have in DAC-DB, we've got 71, which is the goal, except 3 of those are honorary and they don't count. So we need to get a couple new members to achieve that one goal. And with that, I was just gonna open up to you and see if you have any questions. Brenda?
Yeah. So everything, this is doing it. And one thing that I would share with you, you had a day for the district. Maybe I should go, because it's wonderful to see, because there are so many wonderful volunteering. We're not the only one.
It's true.
We need to.
All right, thanks. Yeah.
The microphone.
Okay, if you want to speak, I'll bring in the microphone. How about, okay, John?
Got 3 clubs.
Or repeat the question.
Actually, that online club, there were 4 clubs in the area. How do we coordinate with each other?
Good question. There are 4 clubs in the area. How do we coordinate with them? Bruce Reese is the AG for our district, assistant governor. He convenes a monthly, I think it says presidents and presidents-elect meeting. Last year, Jean Marie was the chair of that committee. This year, I didn't volunteer. Judy Basker volunteered that I am, so I'm in charge. We meet once a month. We have a Zoom meeting and we talk about stuff. We share information. I brought up Mint. Some of them hadn't heard about it. It was fortunate. It was the day after our meeting was the day after that article was in the newspaper. So I said, just read the Courier and you'll learn all kinds of stuff about it. So we talk about stuff and we're trying to figure out things to collaborate on. One of the big ones is it's been ongoing, but do we ever replace the duck derby with something as big? And so we're working on stuff. So that's how we do it primarily. And then having people like Richard come and talk to us and tell us about what his club's doing, just kind of a more informal way as well, kind of more random. Okay, any other questions? Well, I think that's it. Thanks, everybody, and I think we're ready for our Sergeant at Arms, and I know she's ready.
Put that there? You want me to put that there? Oh, yeah. Oh, snap it in. Okay. Well, first off, it's great to be back again, 34 days away, almost too long. Today is National Food Day. We have 3 of them today, but the first one is kind of weird because not only is February 1st National Food Day for this, but it also shares it on March 24th, and why, I have not a clue.
Who are you?
I'm Jolene. You know me.
I know you. I was thinking maybe others didn't.
My husband, I tell you. It's National Cake Pop Day. If anybody's a fan of those little round balls of cake on a stick, this is your day. There's no recorded date for the creation of cake pop. Most people say that Bakerella, Popular Baking Blog, helped make them popular. 2011 cake pops were considered the newest and most popular confectionery food trends. I certainly do not know why. I'd rather have a whole slice of cake on a plate than a little thing that's one bite. Cake pops in recent years have become ambiguous to Starbucks coffee shops. I don't like coffee. I don't go to Starbucks, so how would I know?
The next thing that today is Baked Alaska Day. Now, I can attest, I had a few of these on the cruise ship last month. The name Baked Alaska was supposedly coined in 1876 at Delmonico's, a restaurant in New York City, to honor the acquisition by the United States of Alaska from the Russian Empire in March of 1867. However, the restaurant's original recipe was called Alaska, Florida, suggesting extremes of cold and heat. The dish is made of ice cream placed in a pie dish, lined with slices of sponge cake, and topped with meringue. After having been placed in the freezer, the entire dessert is then placed in an extremely hot oven for a brief time, long enough to firm and caramelize the meringue, but not long enough to melt the ice cream. Now you know how it's made. But today is also one of my favorites. On the tables, you have Hershey Kisses, they're dark chocolate. Because today is National Dark Chocolate Day. It reminds us to indulge a little. Many tout dark chocolate is a healthier chocolate. However, for some, it can be acquired taste. Also known as bittersweet chocolate, dark chocolate is different from milk chocolate. Candy makers add milk and butter to milk chocolate, giving it a creamier consistency. Dark chocolate includes no added milk or butter. Instead, the percentage of cocoa solids remain in the chocolate determines how dark the chocolate is. The higher the ratio, the darker the chocolate. It may also have a slightly bitter taste. Hence, when you see chocolate in the stores, you'll see 50%, 60%, 70%, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what percentage these are. All I know is Hershey Kisses are good. So you can take a bunch with you, if you're going back to work, hand them out to people at work and enjoy a little indulgence for the day. Okay. I think the next thing we're gonna do is the cards. You got your cards ready? And then we'll go to the other good stuff. Have these been shuffled? Who put the cards up here? They are shuffled. We'll do it one more time, just because. And I'm not gonna let my husband draw, because he picked 4 cards today.
I didn't get it.
Wasn't this card last week? Who has the 6 of clubs? Okay, now it's time for that all important happy bucks. Who's got happy bucks?
I have 20 happy bucks because I'm married to her. And we have a great club. I would encourage all of you to think about projects that you would like to see our club work on. We need ideas, and ideas come from you. And then others will gather around and help you bring this idea to fruition for our club. We need ideas, okay? And thank you for the board. They work real hard. They have fun. We have fun. I'd also, as was mentioned earlier, if anybody's interested, join the board.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Gina, can you get that email up?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
I've got 20 happy bucks for 2 different things. As an old guy, I have more time to think about stuff than I used to. And take a look at your piece of candy and try to imagine how much work it took to get the drop to come out that same size on every piece, to get the little wrapper, get the little signal in there and the wrapper on it and get it all wrapped in a way that we can buy it inexpensively. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, we have too.
Not only is all kinds of stuff, plus it tastes good. That's thing one. And thing 2 is I'm real happy that last week, my wife and I got to go to Puerto Vallarta. We got to go whale watching. And hopefully, it didn't show up, okay? I've got a photo of a mahi-mahi. How many have been down there and caught mahi-mahi, or at least know what they are? Mahi-mahi is Dorado. In Hawaii, it's called mahi-mahi, and in Mexico, it's Dorado. 5 feet long. It was amazing. Anyway, there's my.
Okay, I'm gonna add one thing. If you have never been to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and you wanna do that, go. The story behind how that company got started and the incredible legacy that the Hershey's have left that part of the country is amazing.
To make good chocolate. So I had a really lovely morning. I had a meeting with a Chinese gentleman that didn't speak very much English, but he owns Jack's RV resort at the top north end of town. And to develop this Veterans Village up there at that end, we have to get access to a water line that's underneath this property. And he was very accommodating and very willing to let us access that line. And yeah, and so kudos to him for being so generous and easy to work with. Because the alternative was to go through the state and use ODOT to access the water line through their thing. And the idea of going through that process is just a nightmare. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I'm very happy that I have been to the Hershey factory and hotel. We live very near there for nearly 20 years. So the hotel is fantastic, and you go and you have a chocolate bar, love.
Oh, ladies, if you have not had a chocolate spa treatment at the Hershey Spa, woo-hoo. I smelled so good, I would almost want to eat my arm.
While we're talking about chocolate, my wife's folks used to live in Chicago, and whenever we go to Chicago, there's the Hershey store, not far from the Miracle Mile. And we would always take our daughter there, and we wouldn't get sick, but we'd eat enough chocolate. Anyway, during the little presentation, I had recommended or asked that two new people join the board, and I completely forgot. So I want to acknowledge that Zara and Claudia are now new board members. Will start on July 1st. So thanks to you for joining.
Well, we just found out that our youngest Ty, who's off studying epidemiology, is going to do his internship this summer in Tanzania, which might be an excuse for, if we can work it out, for Julie and I to go to Tanzania and say hi to our appetite.
Okay, anybody else?
Bev?
In honor of the dark chocolate, I have 10 bittersweet bucks, 5 bitter, 5 sweet, I guess. Several months ago, my youngest brother was diagnosed with cancer. And we developed a tradition of having a Zoom meeting on all 4 of us brothers' birthdays. And my younger brother turned 67 on January 17th. My birthday was January 10th. Usually we just have one call to cover those. But his youngest daughter was getting married on January 27th. So we decided all the brothers would come and say goodbye at the wedding, but he didn't make it. But the wedding was really fun.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I have 12 happy bucks because I have a lot of dollar bills in my purse. But one of the things I'm happy about is that we probably broke a record for married couples in our club, which is sort of nice. And very happy that my husband is in the club and got me in the club because I love this club. And membership, people just come to a service project or whatever, and they just say, can I join your club? So I don't think we're doing anything extraordinary in membership of this club. It's just the whole club. And fireside, great fireside last time.
Renee and Lisa came to it, great questions, and I loved the presentation today. It was wonderful. And Jean, thank you for setting that last event up. It was wonderful. So anyway, happy about a lot of stuff. Anybody else?
No? Okay. I'm gonna turn it back over to our illustrious leader.
We can always count on something interesting when it's Jolene's turn.
Everyone liked dark chocolate.
For thought for the day, I have a thought, but I also just want to share a little information that I think is important and relevant to who we are and what we're up to. The first is an article. It's called How Homelessness in Oregon Started, Grew, and Became a Statewide Crisis. And you ought to take a look. It's in the, I don't know if you all get this, but it's the Jefferson Journal, January, February of 2024. If you subscribe to contribute to JPR, you'll get this thing. It's a good article. It's not real long, and I think it's just important to read it. It's, you know, the whole homelessness issue is so much more complex than, you know, we give it credit for. The other one, this is from the New Yorker. Let's see, a recent edition of the New Yorker. Let me find it. It is, let's see, the January 22nd, 2024 issue. And it's called Do No Harm. And it's if you ever read the New Yorker, they do extraordinary research. I mean, they have detailed articles. Anyway, it's an article on Measure 110 in Oregon. So it gives you the background and the pros and cons. It's very interesting. And it focuses on this thing in Medford, which just showed up in the paper the other day. It's called the Sabin Wagon. You might want to take a look. And then, of course, our name comes up in the article, not incredibly flattering, but anyway, I just think it's good to understand Measure 11 and read what's being published about it and then us in the state of Oregon. So these are good articles. Anyway, and the thought for the day is, it's a brief one, but planning without action is futile and action without planning is fatal. Thank you.
Social Impact Committee is going to meet over here by Lisa Mooney over there.